AVB started in 1905 as a family-owned bank, started by my great-grandfather. The branch on Main Street was AVB's first branch for more than 90 years. In Broken Arrow, there was Farmers and Planters, which became First National. There was Arkansas Valley National Bank, and there was another bank called First State Bank. First State Bank failed, and the loans and accounts were divided between Arkansas Valley and First National. And it wasn't as they would have been divided today. It was more one for you, and they just sat down and divvied them up like that.
AVB is a fourth generation owned bank, and we recently have fifth generation family members.
My grandfather, G.A. Brown, and my father, Ivan D. Brown, were early pioneers in the Arkansas Valley State Bank. And I'm proud today that it has a new name that was established by their granddaughter and great-granddaughter, Kelly Rash.
My great-great-grandfather was a founder of the bank. My great-grandfather was a president and CEO here. My grandfather was a CEO and president here. My mom is now the chairman of the board.
One of my first jobs at AVB was cleaning out my grandfather's desk drawers. After that, I was hired on one of the hottest summers there ever was. And our dress code meant you had to wear a dress, and I stood in the drive-in to tell our customers how to work our brand new kiosk drive-in, which was new, new, and no one had that at the time.
I didn't realize that until I was in high school that my family actually owned the bank. I thought governments owned the bank, which I felt kind of silly when I found that out, that families and people actually own banks.
I can remember when Kelly and I would come into the bank during the summers and work for our grandfather, I'm sure for a nominal fee, and we would clean out file cabinets and pot bottles and things like that, but he believed in an honest day's work, and he would put us to work.
My first probably paid job at AVB was receptionist and bills payable. I went from there to work on the teller line. I went to teller supervisor. I handled our investment portfolio for a number of years. And then I started our marketing department until I worked into the position I have now as chairman of the board.
The original location on Main Street, my grandmother and grandfather Brown had an apartment over the bank. And they did this because at the time they were still living out in the country in Bixby, and the creeks would rise. And they wanted to make sure that my grandfather could get to work, so they built a small apartment over the bank. Then, of course, later on they lived there, and then after my grandfather passed away, my grandmother lived there. I can just remember my cousin Kelly and I coming in the back door and bounding up the stairs. The door was always open to her apartment.
I can remember running all throughout the bank, the old bank, going upstairs to my great-grandmother's apartment and playing toys there and hanging out with her.
And, spending a lot of fun time up there, sort of their little haven if the creeks got too high.
I came here in the early 60s. I was a teller, and banks were failing. So the customers would know they had money, cash money, the bank did. They'd get it out of the vault and stack it behind the tellers so the customers could see the money was there, because the banks were going broke. The tellers and the bookkeepers used to laugh about somebody's Saturday night signature. Got a little scrawly from overindulging. We were a $2 million bank in total assets. And I know my brother-in-law, George, said one of these, we were sitting around talking, he said, one of these days you're going to be a $10 million bank. And I literally laughed. I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard. And we passed 10 million just fine, and now we're in the hundreds of millions in size.
AVB is very community-minded, and I probably got a lot of that from our president at the time, Virginia Johnson. She was a 40-plus year employee of AVB, and she was our president for many years.
It's really a matter of us getting out into the community, just as we've done over the last 100 years, but also building new relationships. As the community grows, as Tulsa grows, we really need to be a part of all of that growth.
Well, if you know AVB Bank and if you've been in Broken Arrow at all, you know that they love the arts, and they have been a driving force in keeping the arts alive in the community of Broken Arrow, and not only alive but thriving. And really, if you look at the history with AVB Bank before the Performing Arts Center, and now you look at what they've done just in the short time we've been open, without them, I don't think we would have ever gotten off the ground.
The one thing we love about AVB is they feel like a partner with us. We feel like they're a partner, so that when we need something, they're quick to respond. They care about our success, just like we care about their success. We feel like that to be a part of a community, you should give back to the community. And we try to practice what we preach, and I know AVB does it, so it's a very good example for us.
You know, every time we go in, everyone knows our name, very well welcomed, great customer service, but you can tell they really care about taking care of their customers.
If you take care of the customer, they'll take care of you and your advertising.
It takes a good team to be successful.
AVB's mission statement is to serve, connect, and succeed together. I hope all of our employees show up every day, they're engaged, and they believe in our mission statement.
The most important thing I would tell a new employee is we've all been there. I've been there before, didn't know how to do anything, and just take it one step at a time. And because if you make a mistake, we've all done that before.
One of the tellers that I kind of shadowed or that mentored me, she would tell me exactly what to say. Like the customer comes up and you say, hello, how are you, how's the weather, things like that. And then do the transaction, and she goes, okay, now you have to say goodbye. And she kind of nudged me to be engaged in conversation with the customers.
3/4 of everybody who walks through the bank, we know them by name, what their history is with us, and who their wife or husband is.
If employees are engaged in what they're doing and they understand the vision of the bank and where the bank is going, then they can support in each of their individual roles a better way to help the whole.
Something that's different here is we collaborate among the departments, with HR, with marketing, with our cash management, with our tellers. Everybody works together. And I would encourage you to ask questions. Let us know how we can help you. If there's anything that's unclear, let us know. We'd be happy to do it.
When I took the position I have now as the operations manager, I was happy in my little teller world, kind of doing teller compliance. I knew what I was doing. And when I moved to be the operations manager, there was a lot I still had to learn. There were, mad customers that I had to deal with that I hadn't had to deal with before. And so that is probably still on a daily basis kind of pushing me outside of my comfort zone. But having that opportunity has changed my life.
We try to place people in the positions that they will do their best at. We like to see our employees happy. That's one thing that the bank has always worked towards.
It's nice to go to a place where we all like each other and we all enjoy each other's company. And that's, to me, that's really what AVB is all about.
I can feel the warmth of the employees and the pride that the employees take in being in the Broken Arrow community.
AVB is literally awesome. Everyone says that their job's awesome, but I really do have an awesome job.
Respect to have fun, to learn a lot.
I enjoy coming to work every day. Just be ready to have a great time while you're at work and do it with a smile on your face.
Sometimes you'll be pushed outside of your comfort zone, but that's okay.
So if one succeeds, we all succeed together.
We work for a bank that does more for its employees than most employers do.
As a new employee, you will be asked to serve, connect, and succeed together.
We invest a lot in our employees.
You're going to love it here.
The vision of AVB Bank is really a part of all of our staff. It's our staff that goes out, makes partnerships in our community, serves our community, and really makes the bank perform at its highest level.
That's what it means. A handshake is our bond, and that's something that we pride ourselves on.
So it's up to you as the AVB staff to make us move forward.